Hello again, comrades. This is Calls, Clan War Strategies, and take a look. This is what we got going up against title holders here, and this is going to be certainly a challenging clan war for us as we have dealt with in the past, and this is going to be a testament to see how far we've come. And I don't really want to waste any time, as I'm certain you've probably seen my other video on offensive strategies, and I hope you kind of took that to heart, took some notes, because we're going to be applying those very same strategies. And without further ado, I'd like to just go ahead and get into the base, and we're going to go from the top down this time. We're going to start with Duggi KA. So one thing I noticed with the modular gun with the little satellite dish there is that it's too far away. This is a shield module which will increase structures immediately surrounded by 19%, but you notice he made a mistake because it's too far away from the ion station. He missed it by a space. That works to our advantage because it's only 4600 being augmented by a shield generator, HP shield generator, and I'm going to tab over to see what kind of monuments that he's running. We can see that he's got spider +3, he's got deceleration 7%, augmenting freeze around spiders, building a wall +10%, damage troop and gun damage 10%. Now here's the problem though, out of all the monuments this is going to be the one that's most debilitating, because if he's got a building wall 10%, we go back to his ion station, this 4600 really becomes 5,000, and if he's running a blueprint on top of that, it becomes 5,400. So we cannot airstrike this ion station. It's just not possible. So fear not, if you reference my prior video on offensive strategies when you're going up against an ion station, you can get away with dropping 6 heroes and not piss off the ion station. It's not going to begin firing. You can also get away with dropping 4 vortexes, and again you'll be able to peel away this south layer to try and get yourself a nice good breach to drop some bombs and make your way, because you're going to want to try and take down this ion station ASAP. Okay, notice we got one special bunker over here, so we have a couple options. I noticed that we got some structures we're going to have to peel through. So namely this cannon and the watchtower, probably the one that I'm paying the most attention to. So if you drop a bomb, maybe 1 or 2 right here, gen aggro, you'll probably be able to get a 2-for-1 deal on the bunker and special bunker. You can gen aggro on special and the traditional bunker, and then drop a vortex right here to take out this rally point on the south point. And then when your pyros and your moseys get right within range, this is probably going to be about 1 to 2 seconds, you're going to drop a bronze monument airstrike max if you can, max range 1.5, do incidental AoE damage on cannon, watchtower, soften defenses on death ray, possibly even the ion station, and maybe even Jericho, although it won't be relevant. Okay, then you're going to drop probably 2 to 3 more vortexes on this side, and you want to try and take out the oil storage, gold storage, finish off the Jericho. These barrack structures will be totally annihilated at that point. Oil, mortar, and then from there, that's when you want to go ham, drop some bombs, drop your heroes, and try to take this down. Airstrikes, aside from the initial airstrike to take out, special bunker and the traditional bunker should be reserved to try and get yourself through, and hold off on airstrikes as long as possible. If you can, drop one right here on top of this one. If you have max range, you'll be able to do significant damage to these 2 watchtowers, these 2 cannons, as well as the Jericho and the bio storage, which is going to tie up your vortex for a considerable amount of time. 6,000 HP is a lot to chew through. Okay, notice he's probably rolling Colossus, which he is. So this Colossus is out of range. You're not going to have to deal with him until you get closer to the command center. So heroes are going to be around the exterior trying to get you a good breach here towards the ion station. Do not drop 6 airstrikes, okay, because you're going to regret that. You're not going to have anything to show for, because the ion station is still going to continue to lay waste to your troops. And I have plenty of skirmishes where I wish I knew that they were running with defensive blueprints, because I had probably 100 health left to chew through to knock out this ion station. It just was not enough. So this is not one of those bases that I am going to advocate for 6 airstrikes on the ion station. Just don't bank on it. Try and get as much as you can, and good luck on this base. It's not going to be easy. Let's move on to the next. Chris Smith, 2K UK. Let's see what he's running with. We got deceleration 10%, damage first ground 7%, spider +5. So this is actually 2 separate monuments. You get a +2 and a +5. So one of them is maxed out, and the other is only +2. The one that's maxed out is likely the one that augments deceleration. So 20% plus an additional 10% equals 30%. So if you get hit by a freeze round spider, you can expect that your troops are pretty much going to be perma-snared. And then MC, mind control. So this is your maxed out special defense monument, MC50. So this is actually going to probably be one of the most challenging bases. And notice it is structured exactly the same as Duggi KA with the exception of the fact that the special bunker is now closely tied to the clan HQ. So I believe that this is a smart move, and the reason why I say that is because you can't drop a bomb and augment the special bunker without running the risk of dropping a bomb and inadvertently spawning the troops in the clan HQ. So similarly, we want to try and drop units that are going to be able to enable us to get towards the ion station before jetting aggro. So if you take a look, he's got these barracks right here. I'd probably drop like 2 to 3 Colossus right here, and then that will take out these barracks. You want to try and peel away the workshop, these 2 oil rigs, and if you get lucky and you get away with taking out these worker huts, when you drop the rest of your units, you're almost guaranteed to get a real good strong breach. And so I'd probably go after the watchtower or the flame tower in that regard. So if you're in a position where you've peeled away this entire layer 1, it might behoove you to drop units, and hopefully at least one of your vortexes peels off and takes out this rally point. If you get the rally point, all the barracks, workshop, and the oil rigs, it's GG, good game. When the rest of your troops go, they're going to go immediately for the flame tower and the watchtower. Breach, bang, and clear. Try and take out the ion station and reserve your airstrikes to augment the attack. So this would be an area that I'd be very interested in dropping an airstrike, because you can touch mortar, watchtower, cannon, 2 Jerichos, which are irrelevant, soften defenses on the spider, or alternatively, you might want to hold off until you get right about here when you spawn aggro on the bunker, because you can touch watchtower, flame tower, mortar, cannon, mortar, and also flame tower. So if you drop it right on top of this bioreactor, that might be another option to consider. Basically everything in here is probably going to be def drone, so you can expect a def drone here, and Chris has been notorious for dropping fear bombs right around his command center, which really throws off everything. So expect there to be a fear bomb. So if you're running sappers, just be cognizant of the fact that you might inadvertently jet aggro. Hold off on the sappers until later on, when you know that you're closing inward on the command center, and drop your sappers from a side that you've already breached from. So do it from the south. Let's go to the next base. This is Terranova. To my knowledge, we have no idea what he's running in terms of monuments. They're unknown. So check in, see if you get lucky, see if he's got those defensive monuments up. I don't know for certain, but what you'll notice is that he's got his special bunkers on the opposite sides, and this is a smart play in my opinion. And also, I'm going to count off the squares of separation between the center of these spider rounds, and I think it's significant. So you've got 2 here as 4, and then 5 and 6 for each edge of the spider rounds. So the centers are separated by at least 8 squares, which means if you're running max bronze monument for airstrikes, it is not enough to take out both of these. Otherwise, I would advocate for that. So you're going to try and peel layer 1. This is a level 3 ion station, likely augmented with either blueprints or defensive monuments that increase building HP. So it's best to play conservative, especially knowing that we have 2 golden, actually a 3rd one down here, an MC monument which is likely maxed out, and a silver monument of protection. So we're going to go 4 vortex on the southeast side, try and peel away and pinch inward. So deploy your vortex right here where I'm hovering my cursor. So hopefully that it goes rally point and then comm center, gold mine, barracks, and then do the exact same thing on the other side. So you're going to have rally point, barracks, oil rig, and then that way when these 2 or 3, however many it takes, peel inward, once you take out this gold storage, breach, bang, and clear, and go immediately. Make a beeline for ion station, drop bombs, and see if you can get through and take it out. Reserve your airstrikes for condensed areas like right around here. So you can do watchtower, flame tower, cannon, flame tower. You might even want to consider the other side where you've got watchtower, flame tower, Jericho, cannon, Jericho, not really relevant. So 4 airstrikes will take out all these structures here on the southeast side. So you're only left with 2, which is problematic because you still got spider routes that are going to be kind of really hindering your attack. And then of course you get the clan HQ, which also has a Colossus, so as you approach the center you can expect the clan HQ to provide problems. Now if we're going to deal with these special bunkers because they're near the edges, something to consider: you can drop a bomb, spawn these special bunkers, and then you could drop a Colossus, I'm sorry, not a Colossus, but a Vortex, maybe inward towards the center. So for instance, let's focus on this westward one. The special bunker, drop a bomb, it spawns, it's going to get to about here before your bomb is dead, and then you drop a Vortex right here So these Moseys are going to go from right about the level 10 wall, right until they get to this flame tower. As they go inward to engage the vortex, that's when I would drop your airstrike. So it'll take out the Moseys from this special bunker. You can do significant damage on flame tower, watchtower, cannon, and I would finish them all off. I would double tap. I would do 2 airstrikes, then do the exact same thing on the other side. You only need 1 bomb. You can just drop it right here. Exact same thing. Drop into the vortex right over here. Kite them down to this flame tower. Drop 2 airstrikes, and you take out 2 cannons, a watchtower, 2 flame towers, and I think you'll have a pretty good breach with 2 airstrikes at your disposal, and the ion cannon won't be aggroed at that point because you still have room as long as you don't get to 5. Okay, let's go to the next base. This is Mari. Mari is going to be another significantly difficult base. Building wall damage is 10%, which means we can't run anti-ion station with 6 airstrikes. Spider plus 3, gun damage 15, deceleration 15. So freeze round spiders are really going to suck. The spider plus 3 is probably catered towards freeze round spiders in the first place. And if they're running defensive blueprints, the only thing that is your saving grace is absolutely nothing, because it's already augmented by shield generator plus 15 health. So this is on the west side, so what you would want to try and do, and Mari does this a little bit differently. So if you're going to try and trace the line, review my prior video. If you drop a unit here, say a vortex, take out the rally point, the next unit it's going to go for, if you deploy it right where my cursor's hovering, is it's going to go worker hut, it's going to go foundry, it's going to go briefing center, gold storage. So here's what I would do if I were you and I'm attacking Mari. You can break that line by taking out the briefing center, and you can do that by dropping a vortex right here where I'm hovering. So if you do this first, okay, and then you drop a second vortex right here, this first vortex is probably going to continue onward to the gold storage, to the gold mine, to the other gold storage. But this second vortex now is going to go rally point, worker hut, it's going to go to foundry. It's not going to go here now because the structure's already destroyed. Where do you think it's going to go? It's probably going to go inward to layer 2, either the mortar or the flame tower. And that's when it's GG. That's when you're going to drop the rest of your troops and drop some bombs. Try and get through these 2 layers to see if you can do some damage on the island station, because at this point, it's very highly likely that the heroes, as well as these bunkers, are actually going to be inadvertently detrimental to Mari's defense. Because when these pyros aggro, they're going to engage the vortex right when they go towards this flame tower. The vortex are going to ignore the flame tower, and they're going to go inward to take out the pyros, and then they'll re-center their aggro, which might be cannon, flame tower, or even better, it'd be awesome if they can go towards this bunker, and then you can get some more damage. But it's going to take a lot of bombs, and it's going to take a tremendous amount of aggro, and this is where I would focus my airstrikes. I would probably see if I can gen aggro on the special bunker. It will likely require 2 to 3 bombs, because the first 1 or 2 will be destroyed by these 2 cannons instantly. But the third bomb can gen aggro, and then when you drop your initial vortex down here by your briefing center, then you can drop these Moseys as they go to engage, probably right around, I would say right around here actually. Do it very quickly so that you can do damage on the cannon, the watchtower, and the flame tower. Just, in fact, maybe even just spawn them and then just take them out immediately and just drop an airstrike right on this flame tower if you got max range. So that way you're going to try and work your way on through and see if you can try and do some damage on these spider rounds. This special bunker, unfortunately, is a little bit more inward. Even though it's on the same layer, it's off by 1. So you can try and do the exact same thing, where you can drop 2 to 3 bombs right here where I'm hovering my cursor, and then when they aggro, they'll get to about where this gold mine is, and then you can try and kite them over to where your initial vortex is. So if you drop your vortex right here, you can reasonably expect that they'll get about here, and you can drop 2 airstrikes, take out watchtower, cannon, flame tower, as well as the Moseys that will otherwise spawn from this one. So just some options to consider. Over here is this clan HQ. It's probably going to be with another Colossus that's been a thematic element. It's empty now, expected to be full by the time that we engage Mari. So with that, I may have further instructions on this guy, but it will not be an easy base. None of these bases are going to be easy, and that's okay. So we get Jan 87. I believe we were able to scope out what Jan's running. Gun damage 15%, damage versus air 15%, which is a waste. Building wall 10%, wall 15%, spider plus 3. So we can't drop it 6 airstrikes on the ion station. which of course is augmented by shield generator 4600, which may also be augmented by a blueprint. Wow, I don't know how I did that, but nonetheless, I'm not sure I would really like it. It gives me a holistic viewpoint, I suppose. But let's continue. So, if you follow along, airstrikes are out of the question. It's on the north side. Notice that they always seem to fill these four corners. So they put the spiders on the opposite, which I guarantee are freeze round, and they are. Okay, and then they have the clan HQ at the very bottom on the south side. And if you pull info, it's not filled yet, but it might be a Colossus. So we're going to try and see if we can attack the north. So remember, what's the magic number? Get a level 3, how many vortexes can you get away with? You can get away with 4. So you get this special bunker over here that are hovering. So you can drop a bomb or two with relative ease. Nothing's going to kill those bombs. And then you can kite them inward by deploying troops over by this north rally point. And you can actually, I would actually recommend that you cheat inward towards the lab, because if you do rally point, these Moseys might begin to strafe into layer 1 onto the non-essential structures. So you want to make sure that you're maximizing your throughput, and I would actually take them out right when they get to here. So you got cannon, watchtower, 2 flame towers, and you could drop probably 2 airstrikes right here. So that'll soften up the defenses. And then you might even want to consider doing that again right here, just to the southwest of this oil storage if you have max level airstrikes. So you take out these 2 watchtowers, you can go take out the cannon as well as the flame tower, and then all that's left to do is to peel layer 1 and then try and get inward to take out the ion station. This will be filled likely with a bunch of death drones, so just be prepared for that. And hopefully, if you're lucky, if you get to this point, it will go inward. And the problem is these death rates, these level 7s, 4800, they're going to take a little while, and they're going to try and chew you guys apart, especially if there's a Colossus chilling in this clan HQ. So it will be another challenging base, but we'll see what we can do about this one. More to follow. Watusify, welcome back. I went up against this guy in skirmish. I could only get 1 star on him, which is better than 0, I suppose, but I don't really remember if this is the same base setup. I don't believe we can scope out Watusify's monuments. Oh, we're lucky. Spider plus 3, deceleration 8%, gun damage 10%, MC 50 max, and damage first ground. So this is going to be a recon base, and what I mean by that is we need to do a recon, and we need to do a litmus test to gauge whether or not we can determine if he's running with a blueprint. And so the way that I would do this is I would use a CC9, which has 350 damage on a level 4 airstrike, and then I would pick a particular target that is very close to either 700 health or 1050. So this mortar is 730. This is no good. It's not going to help us. The Jericho is 1250. That's too high. It's not going to help us. Watchtower is 840. Close but not quite. Maybe this cannon. Cannon is still too high, but what we could do, let's see, 1050 plus 300. No, that's not going to work, because we have to 1400, 1050, or 700 is our magic number, I believe. And the reason why is, let's say hypothetically, for the sake of argument, this flame tower, instead of it being 960, let's suppose for the sake of argument it was 1000, and maybe this is our example. If we have a CC9 drop 3 airstrikes on a flame tower level 9 that is not augmented by a defensive blueprint that enhances building HP, the flame tower will die. Okay, if it is in fact enhanced, then it will not die, because if you were to take 1000 and it add an additional 10%, that's 1100. Okay, so 3 airstrikes is 1050. So you see where I'm going with this. If it's of 1000, flame tower dies. If it's not, then the flame tower will remain standing, and we can ascertain that Watusify is running defensive blueprints. I'm going to conclude it's likely that he will have defensive blueprints on all day, every day. But that is extremely important to know. If you want to take a look at our prior clan wars against Mother Russia, an opponent that I went up against VOP, we had actually tested him against Donuts. Donuts did a recon attack and just dropped a couple of airstrikes through some heroes, and we were able to ascertain based on the results of the airstrike that he was not running defensive blueprints, and we 3-starred him within 10 minutes. So that is significant, and that is something we're going to do against Watusify's base. So anywho, if he's not running defensive blueprints, we're dropping 6 airstrikes, and we're going to take out the ion station along with the shield generator. If it's max range, we'll take out watchtower, lightning gun, cannon, we'll take out the bunker. Let's search for his special bunker to see where we need a kite. I'm not confident that I see one, and that's kind of surprising because every base current to date has had a special bunker or two. So that is fortuitous, but nonetheless, make no mistake, watusify is exceedingly talented, extremely good attacker. Make no mistake, he will 3-star his opponents. So we have to try and do our best to try and take down his base. Let's see if he's running anything on Clan HQ. Not yet. You have kind of an idea of his comp, but I think this is just cupping troops. This is not something you would run in a clan war. So nonetheless, our attack strategy is going to be take out the ion station. Now, if he's running defensive blueprints, we have a couple of options. We could try and wait it out 8 hours and see if he forgets, or we can try an alternative strategy, which I'll get to in a second. In fact, you can review some of the other videos of the bases that I've advocated against doing airstrikes against ion stations, knowing that they're going to be running defensive blueprints in combination with defensive monuments that increase building HP. So just kind of try and synthesize that information and figure out what you would do. You want to try and take down the ion station. So what do? We peel down the layer. We know how many units we can get away before the ion station engages and starts aggroing, so on and so forth. So more to follow. This is not going to be a base that's going to be up front for us to attack in the first place. So we're up to Bomba. I don't know if we really know what he's running with. I don't believe we do. It is unknown currently, but he has 4 golden, 1 silver. His clan HQ is showing Colossus to be expected. It is opposite of his ion station, and his spider rounds are very far apart. And knowing that it's augmented by a shield generator, I would reasonably conclude that one of these is enhancing his building HP. So I would advocate against the notion of trying to drop airstrikes on ion station, unfortunately. And this can be a little bit of a challenge because he's got his special bunker right here. So what you could do in theory is you could just drop a bomb and then a couple of vortexes up here, or maybe do 2 on either side, 1 to the west and 1 to the east, or 2 to the west, 2 to the east, and then they'll double tap to take out the special bunker, and then that way they can strafe him and peel the onion, and they'll go lab, oil rig, workshop, so on and so forth, so that you can go from the top down. His ion station is positioned in a very similar area of the map as my own base, and I know that top down is one of the most effective strategies that I have found myself on the receiving end of a 3-star. So I would definitely recommend going from the north. Start with 4, see how far you can get before the ion station is no longer in reach, and when you get a good enough reach, drop some bombs, heroes, and the rest of the troops, and go from the top down. So this will be challenging as always, and I think part of the reason why Bomba placed his spiders so far out is almost to try and bait people into try and take them out, because as you get closer to the spider, you actually end up inadvertently becoming more snared because the spider rounds don't have to travel as far, and their probability of hitting units from here compared to here significantly increases, and so that becomes problematic, and you can see how he tries to take advantage of that with his defense structures. So I mean, if you're going to do the spider round approach and try and take them out, consider dropping airstrikes to take out the watchtower and these cannons and other supporting defense units that are going to try and do as much damage as possible while your units are perma-snared. Same here. I'd actually almost advocate that you just drop airstrikes right on top of the spider round and go flame tower, cannon, and go from there. So next base, let's see what we got left. We're probably about a third of the way through, so feel free to skip ahead if your base is not found. Me is MC50, spider +5, so that's 2 separate monuments, 2 golden, 1 is 2, 1 is 3. Gun damage 15, damage to troops. So monuments actually are not bad. So we're going to attack the air, we're going after ion station on this one, even though it's supported. And you're going to want to try and do a crescent approach, and we've done this before in the past. If you want to save yourself a little bit of heartache and grief, so first of all, let's go back and let's do a little elementary math. 3 + 3 is 6, + 1 is 7, + 1 is 8. So what that means is we cannot reach the center between this ion station and this spider gun. which is unfortunate, but that happens. But what we have here is a special bunker, and I have no idea why he's got level 1 walls, but you drop 2 to 3 bombs right here on the northeast side, gen aggro on special bunker, and then drop 1 to 2 units, possibly a vortex, and that will kite the Moseys that spawn from this into airstrike range on Ion Station level 3. Seeing if he's got another special bunker. It doesn't appear as though he does. So basically what you're going to contend with is you're going to try and drop this airstrike. Now when you do the crescent approach, what I mean by that, and I've talked about this in my other videos, max range airstrikes, bronze monument, you're going to do probably two of them right here in this dead space right on this square that I'm hovering over. And max range will take out Jericho, mortar, cannon, watchtower, and it'll do damage on Ion Station. I'm going to call an audible. Don't do that first. Do your first 3 smack dab right on this bunker, because you have got to drop the shield generator after 3 hits. Okay, so after 3 hits, you're going to drop flame tower, cannon, watchtower, shield generator, bunker, and you'll do damage to Ion Station. You'll get pretty close to taking out the lightning gun. Then your other 3 are going to be right on this square right here. So you'll take out mortar, cannon, 2 Jerichos, watchtower, and that'll finish off your Ion Station. Okay, so you have a really big hole at this point. You don't need to worry about going after Ion Stations and getting there as fast as possible. You might even be able to concentrate and go after this side and try and get to the spider gun. So if you want to consider doing that, I might say deploy your troops in the southwest, and just drop them right on this cannon, because it's possible that it may go inward towards oil storage as opposed to these 2 adjacent ones. It's likely that they will, so it might be advisable for you to try and drop your units and do the pinch effect and pinch inward. Drop a single vortex here, which will take out rally point, and then it'll go inwards towards foundry, oil storage. And then at that point, I think you're pretty safe. You can drop the rest of your troops right here immediately south. Should go inward on the mortar, and then you should find some success against the rest of this base. Really odd. I mean, it's just a lot of things just don't really make sense about this base. Mortar level 4, and yet he's got, you know, walls level 11, which would immediately, just that wall alone would level the mortar all the way up to probably 7 or 8. I don't know. But anywho, I'm not one to judge. Me is probably a very talented attacker and part of a very successful clan. So Shakaru, we do not know what Shakaru is running yet, but it runs the same traditional setup here. I mean, it's almost as if like you're looking at the base design and just seeing another instantiation. Copy this base design, it works, and I believe it because it's pretty legit. I only got 1 star on watusify, and Firefox is another account of the same guy, so he's pretty good, and they know what they're doing. So basically, the thing about this clan though is once you figure out this strat to defeat bases like these, they all fall. Okay, so if they all run the same strat, if they all have the same base composition, it's basically like a broken record. So I hate to sound off, but not knowing what this guy's running, he's got defensive monuments right up here, and one of them is probably building augmentation, and another could be a blueprint. Don't do 6 airstrikes on Ion Station. Work around it. I'm searching for a special bunker. I'm not seeing it. So do what we've done before. You know, you can get away with 4 vortexes. Don't be combining vortexes and heroes, by the way. So you drop vortexes, peel the onion, and then, you know, if you want to drop some airstrikes to try and soften the defenses, I might recommend that you do it right here. Should be able to take out these 5. You want to try and maximize your throughput if you're going to drop 2 airstrikes. Maybe do the exact same thing right down here. It'll take out these 5, and then try and chew your way and get to the middle of this. Clan HQ is empty. It'll probably be full, and it'll probably have a Colossus. I haven't really seen any deviation from that. So next base. Up next is Chris. Hello, Chris. I appreciate the helping of the recent clan tournament. That was very nice of you all. Chris is running freeze round, to be expected. It's got a special bunker. It's not maxed out. Kind of questionable. He's got himself Clan HQ. It's not filled yet. It will be Ion 3 augmented. Let's see if you know what monuments Chris is running. They are unknown. So I wouldn't take any risks. This is not your traditional setup in terms of wall placement though. Chris is running something a little bit different here. So with this particular base, we want to try and get to the Ion ASAFP. So if we're going to take down the rally point and we try and trace a line, suppose for instance, for the sake of argument, we drop our troops right here. Next structure is going to go after the tech center. It's going to go after gold mine. And then it could do one of two things. It could go gold mine, or in a fortuitous circumstance, it'll go after mortar. Chances are, excuse me, getting a little late for me. Chances are it's going to go gold mine, and then it may consider going inward towards Armageddon unit. So alternatively, what I might recommend is take out these three structures down here. Go gold mine, barracks, oil rig. Just drop a single vortex. It'll take out this bunker. Don't worry about it. Then drop your remaining units right here on the south side, like right on this square where I'm hovering. So it'll go lightning gun, old school lightning gun, rally point, and it should go inward at this point. It should go to gold mine. It may not though. Instead, when you drop these three structures, you can try and drop your troops right here, and it should go inward. However, I have seen a lot of these units kind of strafe and cheat to the side, so it might be beneficial just to drop them here towards the lightning gun. What I'm trying to say is we're going to attack from the west, okay? And if we can get inside this wall right here, we're in really good shape, because if you trace a line, it's gonna go inward. It's gonna go, gold mine, cannon, bunker, flame tower, oil storage, and then at this point it's a wild card. It could go inward towards this ion station. But the point is when you do it, you want to do it in a show of force. You want to have as many units as possible, and you want to support them with airstrikes. So for instance, when they're trying to chew through these towers and you're waiting for your bombs to go through here, drop airstrikes right here. Take out these watchtowers that are going to be putting pressure on your units. Do the exact same thing up here when they get a little bit deeper, because you're going to need to help them out a little bit and take out these watchtowers and the spider guns. And expect some def drones. There's probably one right here, probably another one here, and another one here. Anytime you see a 2x2, you can just automatically assume def drone. Now, special bunker, so I haven't really encountered this so much. I might recommend that you deal with them, but the problem is this particular special bunker is too far inward, too close to the center. We're never going to aggro it, and I wouldn't really worry about it. In fact, one of the odd things about Chris's base is we don't even really need to worry about defensive monuments. And I spoke too soon, is he's running resource, he's got an attack, and let me see what the other ones are. This may completely change our setup as well. It's got another attack, and so, alright, so drop 6 airstrikes. I hate to call an audible on it, but I just assume that all these bases are going to be running defensive monuments. Drop 6 airstrikes on this ion station. Make sure that the first 3 take out the shield generator, and then just have your way with this base. This is very 3-starable. We can do this. So let's go to the next base. mariDhunta. Walls 25%, gun damage 15%, damage troop, spider 1, trap damage 10. So that's worthless. That's okay. Damage troop is worthless. Walls and gun damage is decent, but I'm not seeing anything for enhancing building HP. It is going to be augmented. It possibly might be by blueprint. It can still fall though. We have 1 special bunker. I'm searching for a second. I'm not quite seeing it. So I would recommend drop a couple bombs, gen aggro on special bunker. Drop a vortex on the north side. Before you drop the vortex though, get the Mosey spawned and drop 2 airstrikes right on top of the special bunker so you can hit the flame tower, cannon, watchtower. So take out the Moseys along with these defensive units where I'm hovering my cursor. Okay, so bomb, first one dies, second one gen aggro. Mosey spawn, you drop them, drop another airstrike, and then try and peel from the north to the northeast. So you're going to drop a vortex, 2 vortex, maybe 3 if need be. Once you get these 4 structures done, your weapon's free, clear hot to drop the rest, and they should go after this research lab, which I feel is very poorly placed. because if you do it from the northeast side, it's going to go research lab and then inward towards your flame towers and your cold storage. So have bombs ready, and you'll be able to take out this ion station. And then the rest of it, your remaining 4 airstrikes are just going to be supporting your units, dropping some heroes, trying to get a good, nice big hole. And this is likely going to be running freeze rounds. I almost don't even check because I don't think I've seen a single base within title holders that's running anything less than freeze rounds. So we're getting close to the end, and I might have to pick this up tomorrow, but I'm going to try and punch through the rest of these. Firefox is my mirror. We're going to talk about whether or not I'm going to be doing this guy or not, because I might be needed for CC9s and CC10s. I don't think we can tell what Firefox is running. Yeah, we cannot, not currently. Let's make sure that that is relevant, because I did this with Chris, and it is relevant, although this is attack. So we got 2 goldens, we got a silver, and we got a bronze. So it's possible that Firefox is running a building HP augmentation. So I'm probably going to be focusing airstrikes right here on these structures, so I can soften this up, take it out, and then right here, so I can take out these 4, possibly 5 if I get super lucky. A vortex from the east side going inward, punch a hole, drop some bombs, and then let's see what we can do, try and get through and take out spider rounds. Let's see what he's running in his clan HQ. Nothing filled yet, but there will be something. He's got an Armageddon unit. Haven't really seen too much damage out of them. So let's move on. Kind of surprised I see this though. Special Forces level 3. Alright. Now we get to our CC10s. Now remember, the thing changes up a little bit when we talk about CC10s. Let me see if I can pull it up. So CC10s, remember, if you can't take down the ion station, CC10s can only have level 2 ions. So that means you can get away with 4 heroes. Or actually, you cannot get away. Once 4 heroes are deployed, it's going to start firing. Once you drop 4 vortexes, it's going to start firing, so you're down to 3. Alright, so ion station level 2, 3990. That's augmented by HP. See if Mutze, actually, we were able to scope what Mutze was running. Compliments pre. So building walls 10%, spider 1, MC 50, and gun damage 9. So pretty legit, especially with maxed MC. It's going to be a tough base. So if you're a CC10, I gotta be honest, I'm not quite sure that this is 3-starable. We'll have to assess this. And the reason why is you got this modular gun. It's going to increase HP 18%. It is within range, unlike Duggi KAs. So this is enhancing the damage, and then if you add an additional 10%, you'll be up to 4,200. So this will still fall if you have an airstrike that is augmented by increased damage HP, or increased damage proximity. The Gen Aggro on Special Bunker, drop some bombs, you drop like maybe a vortex down here, kite it with an airstrike range of the ion station, take it out, along with the shield generator, and this should fall, possibly. This base is 3-starable, absolutely, for CC11, because you're only dealing with 1 spider round instead of 2. But it's not going to be easy, and you can't take this base lightly. I've seen some pretty legit CC10s, and this is definitely one of them. So I will likely strategize this base a little bit more tomorrow. We'll talk it up with the other leadership within Clan Wars, and we'll see what we're going to do. We might have CC10 go after it. We might not. Festering Pez, monument-wise, we were able to discover he's got building 5%, MC 50, and spider +1. The others, actually, we missed one. I think it was a silver monument that we missed. Here's your MC 50, spider +1, and what was the other one? Just to double check. So building 5%, that's probably the silver monument. We'll see if we can go back and scope it out. So obviously ion station 3450, it can be taken out with the CC11. If the CC11's got max range, I would just drop it right on top of ion 12. Cheat a little bit more towards the southeast, because you can take out the mortar, watchtower, soften up on the death ray. Maybe even get this other westward watchtower if you're lucky. So interesting comp, probably not for Clan Wars, but Clan HQ is holding nothing at the time being, and we're on to our last base, our infamous Fighting 88. Arguably one one of the most difficult CC9s in the game, and it has made a conscious decision to roll with damage shield generator instead of your HP generator. And 33 is not going to do nearly as much damage as your Ion Station level 3. Level 3 is like 75 or 79, 80, 82, especially if you're running monuments that enhance damage throughput. But one of the things I want to know, or want to note, is that fighting 88s runs an anti-ground game. So what I mean by that is this bronze monument and one of these golden monuments is running damage against ground, damage gun. One of them is gun overall, so it doesn't matter ground or air, and that's like 10-15%. Then the other two are a combination of damage versus ground, so it's like 15% and then like another 5 or 10%. So when you combine the ground game with the overall gun damage, it equates to about 40%. So basically, if you're a CC11 and you have to take out fighting 88s, just roll with Preds. This is one of those rare bases that you're just going to roll with 8 Preds, 9 Preds, and just raffle stomp this base. It'll be pretty easy. So don't do a ground game against it. I mean, think about it. You're going to ignore walls. You just drop airstrikes, take out the Ion Station. You know, I mean, the heroes will probably be a problem, but the lightning guns are going to be level 2, and I think there's only one of them that you have to contend with. Jerichos are maxed out at level 7, so it's not going to be overly problematic. So as long as you're rolling a pred game against this base, that'll be easily 3-starable. So no offense, 88, you got an awesome base, far and away. But if I need to 3-star you, I know exactly how I'm going to do it. So, and I think that's it. So concludes our briefing against title holders. We'll see what comes of it, and this has been an extended video, and for a very purposeful reason. We want to see where we came from. We did really awful the last time we faced these guys. In fact, we averaged 0.7 stars per attack, so we want to try and improve on that. So if you have any questions, hit me up in chat, in game, or post it on here, or send me a message, and we'll go from there. So good luck. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.